So thank you all for joining us today to sign the Isabella Joy Thallas Act into law. We are joined by the family of the late Isabella. We're joined by the bill sponsors, Representative Sullivan, Representative Herod, Senator Jaquez Lewis, and Senator Danielson, as part of Colorado's ongoing effort to prevent gun violence. We're so humbled and honored to be joined by the family of Bella, who this bill is named for as the Isabella Joy Thallas Act, who was an incredible young woman with a forgiving spirit, kind heart, and brilliant mind, as Anna puts it so eloquently. As many of you know, Bella lost her life tragically in Denver last June when a shooter used a stolen gun to open fire. We owe a debt of gratitude to the leaders before us today for shepherding this to us before the legislature. Over 600 lost or stolen guns in Colorado were reported to the National Crime Information Center. More than half have been taken into evidence by Denver police since 2010. And while, of course, this legislation that can't bring any of our fellow Coloradans back who are no longer with us, we know that this not only can prevent future loss of life, but can also be part of the healing for the Thallas family and so many others that have been impacted by gun violence from a stolen gun. Bringing more accountability to the process of reporting lost and stolen guns, best practices for responsible gun ownership is really common sense across Colorado. This bill simply makes sure that if you're a gun owner, if a firearm is lost or stolen, you need to report it within 5 days. It's the right thing to do for the people we care about. Many Coloradans already report lost or stolen guns. Now they have to. In many cases, this opportunity to save a life is just a phone call away. For compassion, for community well-being, and of course, in the name of Isabella Thallas and our better virtues she demonstrated throughout her life, I will be so proud to sign this bill. And now I'll turn it over to sponsor, Senator Jaquez Lewis.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for being here today. More than 2 years ago, when I first started to work on this bill with Representative Tom Sullivan, little did I know that it would become so personal to all of us. It's been a bittersweet honor to work on this bill, knowing that basically we have someone who was lost because we didn't have this bill in place sooner. I just really want to say a heartfelt thanks to Anna and to Lisa and her whole family for helping us with this today. This is a common sense gun bill that will have all firearm owners know where their firearm is at all times, and if they don't, they need to report it. That's what we're trying to do with this bill, and it's sad that we have this situation that we face with this legislation, but I'm so glad that we could name it Bella's Bill in honor of Isabella Joy Thallas. So thank you so much for my co-sponsors for working with me on it, and I thank the people of Colorado because we know that they support common sense gun bills like this. So thank you.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Governor Polis and Senator Jaquez Lewis. It was an honor to work with you in the Senate on the bill. We are joined by the family today, so they have my gratitude and respect as well. I don't know how many of you know, but they came and spoke on behalf of the Measuring Committee, and it takes an incredible amount of strength to come forward during a time of incredible grief and loss, to stand up and speak out to hopefully make some positive change. So I'm so grateful to you all for your strength and willing to speak out on the bill. Yes, I echo everything that Senator Jaquez Lewis said, and I think that we as legislators have the obligation and the duty to the public to pass bills that will save lives. And ultimately, that is what this will do. It will cut down on gun trafficking. It will cut down on stolen weapons, which will cut down on gun violence. And so to my co-sponsors, again, thank you for allowing me to be part of this, for your continued fight against gun violence, and for your support of the bill. And thank you, Governor Polis, for signing it today.
Representative Sullivan?
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, our other sponsors there. Appreciate you all being there. And take a look at these people. These are your champions, Colorado. These are the people, and in the next bill on our safe storage bill, these are your champions for gun violence prevention here in the state of Colorado. 2 years ago, when we passed the extreme risk protection order, I went and had my bill signed. I kept the pen. I had pictures. I had headlines from the newspaper. I got it framed, and I got it it's on the wall in my office. Someone asked me today before I was coming over, "Are you going to do that for this one?" And I hadn't really thought about it, because this one was supported by 87% of Coloradans. Okay, this was 8 out of every 10 Republicans in the state were supportive of something like this. So it didn't seem to be something that, I had to make a big deal of it. But when we had the conversations about it, it became very clear that each one of these is going to have to be something that's going to be done by these champions that you see here today. And we're going to have to do it for victims like this family, who is here behind me. And we will keep doing that work. We will do every single thing we can to make sure that we keep, our community safe and to stop this public health crisis that is going on in the state of Colorado, and by passing legislation, like this. So thank you again, Governor, and thank you, sponsors.
Thank you. Representative Herrick?
Oh, thank you, Governor. Thank you to the co-prime sponsors, Representative Sullivan, Senator Danielson, Senator Jaquez Lewis, for allowing me to be a part of this bill. I was called in a bit late on this bill, I will say. I know you guys have been in conversation for a long time. Not sure why they called me in, but I want to acknowledge that these are two bills that address the issue of guns in our community. These are the first two that we are passing this session, and there's so much more left to do. So when I think of this measure, I think what probably every other Coloradan is thinking: why do we need a bill? Why aren't people already doing this? But the truth of the matter is, responsible gun owners are reporting their weapons lost or stolen if they should be so. But irresponsible ones are not. And that's a problem. We talk a lot about responsible gun ownership, but we don't want to take accountability when it comes to really defining what that is. And Colorado is making a clear definition of what that is today. If your gun is lost or stolen, you must report it. If you have a weapon, you must safely secure it. These are common sense things that we must do. I want to thank the governor for having our back always and having the backs of Coloradans when it comes to these issues and some of the tough issues that we are facing this year. These bills will make a difference. But I'm sad that we are standing here in the carriage house with a family of someone who was lost before we could get this bill passed. This bill would not be where it is today in the legislature and now in front of the governor if it wasn't for the fight of Bella's mother and family. I've been following you on social media and watching your strength and helping people from all sides of the aisle, all walks of life, understand why this measure is so important. You're Christian, you're playful, beautiful, and you focus on the positive things in life. I'm sure Bella was the same. I've seen you guys on there too. We shouldn't have to come to this room, to this conversation, because someone is lost, because someone has been killed or murdered. But we are here because it didn't end there, because the family is choosing to fight so that hopefully it just doesn't happen again. And if this bill or the next bill can save just one person's life, then we all should be proud and we've all done our jobs. So again, I want to thank the governor, co-sponsors, for passing this measure, for getting in the fight, and for doing what's right for the people of Colorado. Now I have the distinct honor to welcome up the mother of Bella, Anna, my new friend, my new warrior and champion in justice. I'm so proud of what you've done. So proud you're here today. I know your knees are shaking, mine are too. It's okay. We do this in honor of you, in honor of Bella and the family. Proud to say that we are signing today Bella's law. Come on up. Is there a tissue?
Good afternoon. I'm a little weepy. Pardon my appearance. When I was approached with this, I didn't know what to do because I was in the middle of my grief. But thank you so much. Pardon me. I'm sorry. This was deep calling to deep. I lost my daughter. I lost a piece of myself. The glue to this family. After I reviewed the bill, it made sense to me. Common sense. Unfortunately, as we all know, common sense is not so common. So I fight. Not just for Isabella, but I fight for the other people in Colorado, because it's not just about her. It's about Jacob when he goes to school. And his school might be next. The grocery stores, the malls, the gun violence is out of control. Somebody has to do something. But what saddens me and hurts the most is that it takes a mother of a murdered daughter to stand up and speak and try and make a change and a difference in this state. From the beginning, I said I would not let my daughter's death go down in vain. Here I stand. I have stood firm, and my beliefs and my convictions followed my intuition. And now, with immense gratitude, the governor, thank you so much. You know this feeling all too well, and you shouldn't. His Batman pin represents his son. My butterfly represents my Bella. Thank you so much, Senator Hawkins. Thank you. Leslie, Representative Leslie, thank you. My children, my mother, she has done so much. She is the backbone of our family. My beautiful daughter, she is going into law enforcement. My amazing son wants to be a Marine. Darian Simon, he survived. He's here to walk he's able to be here. He was with Isabella that day. I brought him. He deserves to be here, too. We love you. You will always be a part of our family, no matter what. Thank you all.
Thank you. In addition to being joined by Anna and Lucia, she mentioned Jacob and Darian and Lisa, Grandma. We thank them all for being here as we officially make this part of the law of Colorado. Ready? It's officially the law of the state of Colorado. And we have another one for the family as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your work, and thanks for giving voice to her memory by really making a real lasting change that will save the lives of Coloradans whose faces you may never know, but you know that their families want to go through what you went through.
Yes, sir. May I thank you?
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you for joining us for this signing. Yeah, this one's important too. It's about making sure people store their guns safe in their homes so children don't go hold them. As responsible gun owners know, gun ownership is an important responsibility, and that includes storing a weapon safely so kids can't get a hold of it with a tragic outcome. And of course, Colorado's sportsmen and sportswomen, people who have guns for home defense, take that responsibility very seriously. And today we're signing a bill to make sure that the storage of firearms helps keep Coloradans safe, particularly children and those at risk. And I want to thank sponsors for working to pass legislation that will prevent gun violence in our state by making sure that guns are stored securely and away from kids. Representative Duran and Representative Mullica, Senator Bridges and Senator Hansen, all of whom are with us, I want to thank for their important work. You know, gun owners do their part to safely store firearms. We can prevent theft and misuse, but also prevent children and adults living at a home where guns are stored from doing harm to others or to themselves. This bill upholds safety standards from the point of sale and makes sure that new and used guns come with a trigger or cable locking device when they're sold. It's a sensible measure to help avoid immeasurable heartbreak. We appreciate leaders in the legislature, community advocates, so many coming together to effect common sense safety. And I look forward to safer sportsmanship in Colorado, and we'll turn it over to Representative Monica Duran.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you, Governor. Thank you, everyone that's here today. Thank you to Representative Mullica, Senator Bridges, and Senator Hansen. This has been, 2 years in the making. A lot of hard work, consideration, and thought has gone into this, working across the aisle to find a path forward. This is a common sense gun bill. This is about safe storage. This is about making sure that if you are a gun owner, and like most gun owners, we store our guns safely, but it's changing the mindset, right? For those who own a firearm, to make sure that they're storing it in a place where a child cannot get a hold of it or anyone who shouldn't have access doesn't. I'm really proud of the work that we've done on this bill. As I said, a huge portion of it is education, and it's about saving lives, is the bottom line. And I'm really proud of the state of Colorado. I'm really proud that we were able to get this bill to the governor's desk. We're leading in this direction, and we really need to. We need to make sure that we continue to take the steps needed to keep our community safe, keep our children safe, and keep our families safe. So I'm so proud of the work we've done. Thank you again, Governor, for signing this into law today. Thank you to everyone who put in all the work and the effort, and I look forward to continuing to pave that path forward to making sure that we're creating change when it comes to gun safety and protecting our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Malika.
Thank you, Governor. Today's a good day for Colorado. We're able to sign a bill today that we know will save lives. And we hear a lot, we've heard a lot today about common sense gun legislation. We heard a lot during the process that people believed in the idea of safe and responsible gun ownership. And this is your opportunity right here. With this bill, we're defining what that safe storage is. And that definition doesn't include leaving a loaded firearm under your pillow while a 5-year-old's running around the house and you're at work. We're making sure that we're protecting our children. We're making sure that we're keeping these children and these youth out of our ERs from these accidents or these intentional incidences where they're trying to harm themselves. And it's something that I'm really proud of, and it's something that I'm proud of my colleagues standing behind me, not only them, but the colleagues that are still at the Capitol, the colleagues that were in the chambers that sat through hours of debate, making sure that we were going to pass a law that saved lives. And that's something that's happening today. And I want to thank the governor again for signing it and having the leadership to do that, and the leadership in the Capitol for making sure that we got this across the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Governor. This bill is about responsibility, and responsibility is a core Colorado value, and that's all this bill says. It says be responsible. If you have kids at home, lock your guns up. Put them somewhere safe. Put a trigger lock on it for $8. Keep those guns out of the hands of our kids. This is a really narrowly targeted bill that is aimed directly at one of the major problems we face as a state. In Colorado, we have one of the highest teen suicide rates in the entire country. And we know that even though 4% of suicidal acts are done with firearms, that 4% of attempts accounts for 40% of deaths. If we can reduce the number of attempts using a firearm, we can have a dramatic impact on cutting the number of teens who die by suicide here in Colorado. This bill is a common sense bill that is aimed directly at the problem that it's trying to solve and no further than that. We know from studies that this is one of the most effective things we can do to reduce both accidental deaths among our young people and those deaths by suicide. So I'm so happy to be here with the governor. I'm so grateful to have been invited to be on this bill by the sponsors in the House. There are so many wonderful advocates out there who have really made this just such a clear and targeted and such an important bill. And so thank you, Governor, for signing it today, and thanks to everyone who worked so hard to make this happen.
Thank you. Senator Hansen.
Thank you, Governor. I sponsored this bill for my 2 boys. That's ultimately what this bill is about, keeping our kids safe. We know from other states that have done similar pieces of legislation that you can reduce deaths from young people by 60%. It's a massive step forward for gun safety in the state of Colorado. We have more work to do. We cannot become jaded by the almost daily headlines that we face each morning of more gun violence, more gun safety problems. But today we take 2 positive steps forward with these 2 bills. So I thank my co-sponsors. I thank the huge team of advocates, of moms, of dads in this state that have made this bill possible. I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored to do this for my 2 sons.
officially the law of the state of Colorado. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you.